Welcome to Happy Wolf Art and episode 12 of Medieval Comics. This week we're looking at another P. Craig Russell creation, in part with Neil Gaiman. Norse Mythology is the title. And before we get into that, I would like to introduce a couple books that this series is ultimately based on, and Neil Gaiman has written his own version of these Norse myths in modern prose in his particular style. So, really briefly, if you'd like to take a look at a sort of easy entry into Norse mythology, Neil Gaiman, there's plenty of other modern translations of these myths, but this comic series that we're going to be looking at is from Neil Gaiman. Also, if you want to look at some of the historical sources, you can look at Snorri Sturluson's The Prose Edda, and this is thought to have been sort of a how-to guide for poets and bards in the early medieval period, having to do with Norse and Germanic mythology in general. Let me give you a quick view of the back of the book. If you'd like to pause the video and read it, you're welcome to. This is from Penguin Classic, and this one is an older one from the University of California Press through Berkeley. And really briefly on this one, I would say it's organized really nicely with footnotes. Here's the table of contents. It begins with the creation account, these kennings. These are sort of structures, poetic structures for skalds is what they're called, but yeah, poets in the medieval Norse tradition, and then various other Eddic poems. This is from the 13th century. So there's debate as to which came first, the Prose Edda or the Poetic Edda. And Snorri, in this prose version, quotes from poems that are found in the Poetic Edda, and some of these poems date to the 9th to 11th century, although this is written down in the 13th century. So this is the Poetic Edda. These poems were written in alliterative verse, and I'll let you go ahead and check what that is if you're not sure, but these are English translations of the Old Norse, and they try to stay relatively true to the sentence structure and so forth. So anyways, this is where Neil Gaiman got his inspiration for this series. And also, just really quickly before we have a quick look at the title or the covers for this series, I just want to also introduce my Instagram page. It's Happy Wolf Art, and if you're interested in some of my art and stuff, go ahead and take a look at that. I'm working currently on a project about California history through the eyes of kids called the California Kid Project, and there's various kid groups. They have various warrior forms. They meet. They have conflicts. They sort of figure them out sometimes, sometimes not. Have a bunch of adventures, a bunch of fun. And anyways, that's on my Instagram if you're interested. Happy Wolf Art. All right, so Neil Gaiman, P. Craig Russell. Do look up P. Craig Russell, incredible artist, one of my favorite artists when it comes to these sort of Germanic type of artwork. All right, so this is a series or volume 1, and I'll give you a quick flip through of the covers. I personally got the Russell covers because I like his art style the best. And in this series, they cover the main sort of Norse myths having to do with Sigurd. You'll see Ragnarok, the end, the fall of the gods, etc. So this series 1 or volume 1, it's issues 1 through 6. Generally speaking, the art is pretty consistent on here. Craig Russell does most of it, although there are a couple issues where other people take over. So this is volume 2. So volume 1 was 1 through 6, and the series went on for quite some time. And so if you like Norse mythology, Germanic mythology, you'll love this series. This is number 2, volume 2. And volume 4, or number 4, volume 2 still. 5, and then 6. And the stealing of the golden hair, really important story and myth having to do with Loki and so forth and his mischief. This is volume 3. I think the series started in 2020, so it went on for quite some time. So volume 3, issue 2. This is the Allfather, or Odin, the one-eyed god. So he obviously has a presence in this series. Here's Loki on the cover, thinking up mischief. This trout plays a particular important role that Tolkien used in Lord of the Rings. So if you want to look for an origin regarding that ring myth, you can find that in part in Norse mythology. So this is issue 5. This is sort of getting towards the end of Ragnarok here, and the fall of the gods, or the death of the gods. Here we have Surt coming out from the underworld of Hell, Hel, not Hell. And issue number 6, this is the end of volume 3. So that's all that there were. Yeah, again, if you're interested in Norse mythology, this is a great series for you. They're in trade paperback, and you can find them online. Also, the Neil Gaiman Norse mythology prose is fairly inexpensive. You can find it, I think, for $3 or $4 on Amazon used. And otherwise, thank you for stopping by. Some of these covers were painted covers, so this is obviously a painted cover of Odin with his ravens that he would send out to collect information and knowledge for him. But this is just an advertisement free thing before the series started. So anyways, thanks for stopping by. If you would, click subscribe, give a like, maybe recommend a friend if you are into comics, medieval comics, medieval toys. I have a series on that, and also all ages comics and some other things. So if you scan around on my playlist, maybe you'll find something interesting there. Also, more about the California Kids Project can be found on my YouTube site. All right, thanks again.